Hey boyos, daily check-in with John Vee. It is the new year, January 1st, 2026. So this is a special New Year's stream. If you haven't noticed, I haven't been doing a lot of these videos lately. Just, I'm on a cycle of not really self-hate, but self-loathing a little bit, just because I'm not taking good care of myself. I look like shit. Worse probably than I've looked in a couple years now. But the good thing is, once I turn my life around, it'll be all upside, and it'll be, on the up and up, not a downward spiral anymore. Once I decide to actually change things, so that's why I haven't been doing streams. I just don't want to see my ugly face in the camera on the computer, right? But not much to talk about as always. No New Year's resolutions for me. I'm not that type of person. I don't say on the the first of the new year. I say I'm going to start working out, shit like that. It's just, you know, I feel bad for people in the gym. They're going to be flooded with all these New Year's resolutioners that will give up after 3 weeks. So, but yeah, what does the new year hold in store for me to anticipate? Well, next month in February, I have the DTC Disability Tax Credit application. They should be approving that next month. And if they do approve it, which I'm like 90% sure they will, that'll be an extra $200 a month on my disability check. And from what I understand, that might be increasing soon for people on the DTC. Plus 10 years of back pay, which is thousands of dollars, it should be, right? And what else do I have planned for the new year, 2026? Well, I want to keep increasing my skills as a Magic player, playing Magic Arena, but that's not new. I've always wanted to do that. But buckle down, keep grinding at the game, digital version of Magic, and just get as good as possible. I'm not as good as I was a couple years ago in some regards, because a couple years ago I did get eighth place in the world 1 month, eighth place in the world in the format I was playing, and these days I'm just placing in like the top 20,000 to top 1,500 players, which that's still not bad. Top 20,000 in the world isn't bad, right? But top 1,500 is quite a bit better. But I typically, yeah, I typically don't place extremely well. I make it to the mythic tier, which is the highest rank, and then it's a grind from there to make it to the top, 2,000, 1,500, 1,200, 250 players. And I typically don't break 1,500. Last month, I was briefly like 1,550th place, which ain't bad, right? Not bad at all. I felt like I had to burp or hiccup or something, and now it's gone. But yeah, I don't have any New Year's resolutions for getting in shape or anything like that. I'm just probably going to continue the downward spiral of rotting for a while now. I know initially when I got put off work on disability, the plan was have my life revolve around fitness with all the free time that I have. You know, walk multiple hours a day, weight train every day for like an hour or so, and eat a healthy diet. And it didn't work like that. You know, I have learned the hard way that just you know doing nothing for work, just sitting around at home, it just breeds more laziness. That's all it does. Because when I had a job, I'd be thrilled to come home and actually do things I wanted to do, like work out and play games and stuff. And now it's like this is all old to me. Even playing games is old because I don't do anything meaningful with my time. I just play games, eat some food. I might go for a walk to the store that takes 20 minutes, and smoke a bunch of cigarettes, drink alcohol once in a while. And you know, if you're disabled or something or unemployed and you actually do something meaningful with your time, well, I'm impressed because it's been a downward spiral for me ever since I got put off work, right? Initially when I got put off work, it was like, oh, this is cool. I got all this spare time. I started working out several hours a week, and I got the biggest I ever had been in my life, which isn't really a good thing because I was pretty fat. Also, the strongest I had ever been, which is a little upside, right? But not stronger by much. I mean, I was benching like 270 for reps, deadlifting 410 for reps, squatting like 370 for reps, and it's not remarkable, right? It's okay. And that was just after like 4 months of lifting. And I likely will not really be putting up those numbers again because I don't want to bloat max, right? I'll be next time I attempt lifting is gonna be when I'm really lean and thin after I've lost all the weight, from walking and dieting, right? So, but yeah, not a lot to go over, you know. Banned from the MISC, so I don't post anything on the MISC anymore. I can't because it will be assumed that the alt that I'm using is me, which would be correct. I know A. Willis, you know, posted some of my videos, and I appreciate that, right? At least I'm remembered. I do have a few forums that I frequent, elysianfields.se, neats.net, and looksmax something. It's not a popular looksmaxing forum like the other two that I used to be on that I was banned from. But, I was desperate for a new forum to post on, so I found this other looksmaxing forum, and, it's full of guys just trying to better their appearance and money max and stuff like that. And I look at those guys, they post pictures of themselves and stuff, and a lot of them are not very good looking. And, it gives me hope because I'm like, man, if I can get in shape, lose a lot of weight, I will look significantly better than I do now. And, yeah, the balding is the only real failure I have that can't be fixed, right? Because my appearance is mostly from being out of shape and fat and inactive, not getting sun, not eating a healthy diet, all that stuff. That's what is affecting my appearance the most, and that can all be changed. But the hair, the balding, no, that's a lost cause. But I've been balding since I was 20 years old, so, it didn't seem to hurt my success with women when I was younger and balding. So all I have to do is get really lean and in shape, and I should be okay again, right? Just the balding is something I have to accept, and I've had a long time to accept it. I still haven't accepted it because it's gotten significantly worse since I went on blood thinners, and apparently that's a rare side effect of the warfarin is balding. And the surgeon had warned me after the surgery. He's like, if you have a family history of balding, this is gonna make it worse, and it did. So, but if it can't be helped, it can't be helped, right? It's just the way it is. Um, yeah, been doing a lot of shopping on Temu again. I'm in debt again, but not by much. I'm in debt by like $1,300, which is nothing, right? That's nothing. But when your income is less than 1,000 a month, $1,300 debt is it's a bit, right? Because how the fuck am I supposed to pay it off? Getting less than 1,000 a month and almost half that going to rent, right? But it's something that I'm just putting on the back burner. Worry about it later when I hopefully get approved for the DTC disability tax credit next month. I can make one fell swoop and pay all that off. It's just I have two credit cards, and one is maxed out. The one that's not with my bank, it's a Capital One. That's maxed out. The limit's like $1,200. And then the one through my bank, I just have a small balance on of like $50 or something that I owe, right? But it keeps creeping up all the time because I keep shopping on like Temu and buying packs of smokes at the store and eating at McDonald's, little shit like that. It just keeps accumulating debt. But I love shopping on Temu. I ripped that company off so bad. I'm not going to go into detail of what I do to rip them off, but I I abuse to the full extent the refund policy. I ask for refunds on as much stuff as I can across 5 accounts, right? And yeah, but I have a ton of Magic the Gathering supplies like binders, penny sleeves, top loaders, art full art sleeves, Dragon Shield card sleeves, binders, deck boxes, storage boxes, cardboard boxes. What else do we have? We have the generic boxes and we have full art boxes, as in not boxes, deck boxes. So I have thousands of dollars worth of Magic supplies, accumulated in my room, and that's pretty much the brunt of my belongings is stuff I've purchased off Temu, right? And it's gonna be a pain in the ass when I move to the city because I have to move all this shit. I really don't have a lot of stuff though. Like I moved here from the old place a mile down the road, no problem. Um, the weight set is going to be the biggest pain in the ass because it has to be taken apart, and disassembled and reassembled, and all the weights, like 600 pounds of weights. That's a pain in the ass to move those. And I haven't really used the weights much since I moved in here, and I won't be probably for quite a while yet till I get my life turned around and lose a bunch of weight, right? You could say, well, lift weights now while you're big and fat. No, I'm not doing that, right? Because when I lift weights, it makes me feel hungry, and then I just eat more and I'll just gain weight. You could say, well, you're gaining muscle. Well, not really. You gain a very small amount of muscle and you'll gain a bunch of fat too, and I don't want to get fatter, right? I just want to twink max, start walking a whole bunch and dieting really hard, and just twink max, basically be the size of a fucking twink, get down to like 160 or so, and it's a big dream to get back down to like 160, especially when I don't have an active lifestyle, I don't have an active job or job at all. So, I understand now why there's so many people my age that are humongously fat, like over 300 pounds. I understand now because they they adopt a lifestyle where they're not active, and it's just a downward spiral. They just slowly gain weight over time, keep putting on 10, 20 pounds a year, and you know they get to be my age and they're over 300 pounds, and I don't want that to be me permanently. I don't want that to be me permanently. I don't want to be some fat fuck. I go on the internet and I get put down and insulted, called a fat fuck and all this shit, and fat and ugly, and I can't handle it. Even in my home life, having people that I know personally, they'll insult me and make rude comments about the way I look and how fat I am, and I can't handle it. I can't handle it. I don't understand how other people that are way fatter than me, how they cope with being that size and being insulted and stuff all the time. I don't understand how they cope with it. Right? I don't understand it. But I'm not sure what else to say. Right? Not sure what else to say. I have a whole bunch of Dragon Shield card sleeves I'll be sending back to Temu. Um, Probably $650 worth of them. Each box is valued at like $15 on the site, and I'll be sending those back and like $650 back, and I'll buy other stuff with it. All these ones that I'm sending back, they're all damaged in some way. Like the box of sleeves is partially crushed or something. I have one that has like a little incision in it, so that's going back. And people, I've had somebody ask me for is like, why do you buy this stuff and just send it back? That's all part of the ripping off of the company, right? That's all part of it. I'm not going to go into detail about it because I don't want to discuss illegal things on my channel, right? Because I don't want to get shut down, and YouTube's not a big part of my life, but I like to occasionally make these videos, and I don't want to get shut down, right? I can say though, Facebook has been so generous with me. I, I have said the worst, nastiest things on there, and I still have my account. I don't know if Facebook is a free speech platform or what, but it seems to be. I know the MISC is not, because I got banned, and supposedly the administrator wanted it to be a forum of free speech, but that's bullshit. That's bullshit. It's not a form of free speech, right? It's a popularity contest, and I was too popular, maybe, and I was a threat to the administrator. I'm talking shit, but that's what I get from it because there was one forum I was on. I was banned within 24 hours, and I did nothing that was ban worthy. Nothing. Because I was purposely being on my best behavior because I did not want to be banned. And I was banned in 24 hours. Under 24 hours. It was like 20 hours, and I was banned. So, what's that tell you? I had like a dozen people right on my profile wall on that forum in the first 20 hours I was on there, because I was popular, I was well known, and administrator couldn't handle it apparently. But yeah, I look like absolute dog shit. I know somebody on the MISC was saying I look like somebody force fed me Twinkies and ran over me with a truck. Pretty much, that's about how I look. Pretty sorry looking character I am. I had the beard trimmed last month and it seems to be okay. My hair needs good trimming. It actually looks worse when it's trimmed for some reason. Somebody suggested just cut it down, do like a quarter or half an inch, and leave it there instead of going bald, instead of shaving it. Because shaving your head and keeping it maintained as a shaved look, bald headed shaved look, it's kind of difficult because you have to shave your head every other day. And at least with half an inch or quarter of an inch, you don't have to do it all the time. You can let it go for a couple weeks, then go over it with the hair clippers, right? So that might be what I do, right? But I'll be really happy to get my own place in Halifax in a year or two. That's the timeline they gave for housing, was a year or two. They did make sure to tell me, it could be longer than that. It could be sooner. It's probably going to be longer, if anything. It depends how quickly current tenants move out and stuff like that, right? And I'm on the list, so I have priority access. And once I get into one of those places, I'm in there for life, and I'm set. You know, I don't mind living here. It's okay. It's not great, but it could be a lot worse. It's just I don't have a lot of people to talk to or confide in, and I don't do anything meaningful with my time. I don't have a lot of goals. I should have more goals in life, but I don't right now, and oh well. But yeah, I don't think there's anything else to say. It's just the same old shit I always say about, my plans and what's going on with my life, which is not very much. So, we'll cut it off there, and I'll see you guys online.